Wasteland Gladiators are a combat league that goes out to Wasteland every year and other events, and we get in full armor and we just beat the hell out of each other for fun and for the glory of the crowd. I became a gladiator because when I went out to Wasteland the first year, I wanted something more. I wanted to go, get into some sort of combat, like through the ages, the combat, like historical combat, but spruce it up a little bit, bring it more modern, like after the world had ended.
Why am I a gladiator? Well, of course I like to fight. There's definitely a piece of me that likes to be seen. Feeling a little bit like a superstar, being high-fived by strangers. It's not something I ever really thought I'd crave or want, but the recognition is fun. That's why I throw my coat that I walk around with every day over my armor. I go by chef because I am a professional chef. I do catering. I've been in the culinary field for 13 years now. I am currently in the process of opening a winery. A lot of people stick with restaurants and things like that for the rest of their lives, and I wanted to take mine in a different place.
Outside of Wasteland, I'm a fabricator welder. I was building warships there for a while. Was building yachts, mega yachts down here in San Diego. Now I do more custom fabrication for all sorts of things, kind of run my own business now. The Wasteland Gladiators armor, we all follow the basics of EMP for armoring, for your elbows, make sure what's the critical points are armored. But after you get those critical points done, we can go creative. We can get real creative with it. Now, my platform is tires. I'm real big on tires. I put tires on everything. Now, with the armor that I got here, I started with the base of a dirt bike, chest protector. And then I just put a few pool foam in the back to build up the back to make it bigger, and then I just started creatively laying in tire and bolting in tires to the kit. Use good old weight belt right here on both sides for the straps, like a weightlifter's belt. Anything you can find, just like everything else in Wasteland. It's all scavenging. It's all build with what you can find. Now, on the front side here, since I'm a metal worker, I had to put my nice little touch of steel. So I got that expanded steel with a little plate behind it. This kit is about 30 pounds, which is much lighter than my previous kit, which I'm about to show you. This is my current kit. My first kit, I went straight up 100% scavenging. 100% with what I found. And it is heavy. This weighs almost 60 pounds. It's heavy.
Our gear normally is pretty on par to minimize accidents. We use steel, leather, wood. Because it's Wasteland and we're thematic, we use rubber, we use tire tread, we use stuff like that, which has its own faults. We're supposed to not feel completely invincible, but when you have a steel plate and then dirt bike tire on top of it, weapons literally bounce off of you. Like, these are things you could really survive the apocalypse with. Mine is being remade because it's no longer good enough for me. The minimum requirement for a helm is 16 gauge on the side and 14 gauge steel on the top. And that's the minimum requirement. And I'm running with minimum. And right now, if I take a square hit to the head, it rings my bell. And it's like to the point where it's like Archer, nyeh. Like you hear ringing. You legitimately hear ringing.
There are a few dangers to the combat that we do. Since it is full go, 100% fighting. We have great armor. We have great armor checks and safety preparations, but there's always that little chance of somebody getting injured.
One of our first years, my buddy Ivar, one of my best friends, we were trying out new fighting styles in the cage, and he has a Corinthians helm. He took a shot that wasn't the safest, and it actually caved. So everything that was like this went like that. And broke his nose, broke his skull, literally blood coming out of out of the dripping onto his chest from underneath the thing. You know when things go wrong. He had what's called a boxer's fracture. So your head is 2 pieces, your jaw and your skull. His was in 3. Jaw, lower part of the skull, and the top part. He broke at the seams here. 4 stainless steel plates holding his skull together for a while. It was hard seeing a broken and spirited man who realized he couldn't fight anymore. Luckily, after talking to him and meditating and trying to help him out on a spiritual level, we got to the point where we figured out how to get him in it. Now he trains fighters, and he finds great peace in that, and he's passing on knowledge, and we're all very happy for him. It was pretty scary. I did not fight the same way for 6 to 8 months. We hear about stories where you have critical armor failures, but these are things that your neighbors, brothers, cousins, sisters, brother-in-law twice removed has happened to.
Now the weapons we use are rattan. The reason we use rattan is because rattan is like bamboo, but solid. And when you hit somebody, it flexes. But the key element to rattan is that when you break rattan, it doesn't shatter and splinter with the sharp edges, because that's unsafe. So we use rattan clubs, and then for Wasteland Weekend, or the Wasteland Gladiators, we dress them up. Like I've wrapped this in sports grip tape. I got 2 giant tennis balls, and I've wrapped it in tire, and this is like a mace club. And then so I can thrust it with this end. I got another little tennis ball down here with some tire, and you can thrust with this side, bring it over, thrust with this side, hit with it. It's all sorts of things we can make, because we don't have any like medieval restrictions. We don't have anything that holds us back historically. We could come up with a design in history of our weapon and then just go wild with it.
So the difference between, or sorry, I should say, the ratio between fighting and the show itself is different for each person. For me, it's about 60-40. I fight really hard, but I also incorporate a lot of moves that may not be as indicative of winning a fight with 80 pounds of armor on. So I am one of the few people, we have people who train in martial arts. My friend Wes, or Smash as you would get to know him, he was a mixed martial artist, professional. I do Muay Thai. We have one guy, Caveman, he's a professional wrestler in Canada. So if you actually, there's a video from, some videos from last year, we're like, yeah, let's ham it up a bit, but still actually fight. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So I literally, he got me down to my knees at one point because, I mean, you slide around in the dirt. And I grabbed him and I literally suplexed him backwards. And everyone's like, oh. And I'm like, I worried that I hurt him because I really threw him. I picked him up and threw him, like, backwards. So for me, it's about 60-40. For some people who just want to fight, it's more like 90-10. We have base rules that we add so that it's not just fighting. Like, we're allowed to grapple and take someone to the ground and just beat them, but we generally have a rule that we don't do that because 2 guys in armor on the ground, it just looks like we're humping each other. Because if you don't know fighting, you don't know that we're actually like slipping jabs with like a small dagger. We all use clubs or club-like items. Nothing's steel. But if I'm in there and I'm literally trying to knock the wind out of him, like you just see me doing this on his chest, which looks weird. So we forego some of our normal fighting for the show because it helps put on a better show.
You really can't tell or won't know what we do until you come check it out. So come check us out this next year at Wasteland Weekend. But we're all warriors. Every single fighter that we have is a warrior and pushes through any adversity or anything that comes our way.